For those who are just walking in, our interpretation services is on the following channels. English is on channel 2, French on channel 3, Portuguese on channel 4, and Swahili channel 5. Portuguese, you still cannot hear us? Portuguese, may you confirm? There's still nothing? Thank you. And English, is English there? Is the English coming through? English is supposed to be channel 2. Okay, thank you. We'll get it sorted. Sorry for that. I've been elevated. Can we hear now, Portuguese? Portuguese channel, are you able to hear now? Yes, English channel? Thank you. I needed to be closer to heaven so that you can hear. Okay, thank you for that. I'll then just go through the program. Our program is as follows, like I said. We will start with the opening remarks from the Republic of Angola, the chairperson of the Standing Committee of Senior Officials. Thereafter, we will witness the handover from the Republic of Angola to the Republic of Zimbabwe. And after that, we're going to have remarks from the chairperson, who will then be Republic of Zimbabwe. At this point, allow me to then invite the chairperson of the SADC Standing Committee of Senior Officials, Ambassador Nazare Joseph Salvador, Director of SADC Office, Ministry of External Relations in the Republic of Angola. You have the floor, sir.
Muito obrigado, distintos representantes dos Estados-membros, minhas senhoras e meus senhores, não esquecendo o secretário executivo e a sua equipa. Vai ser o meu último discurso como presidente do Comitê Permanente dos Altos Funcionários. Eu vou iniciar o meu discurso. Embaixador Alberto Chimbinde, Secretário Permanente do Ministério dos Negócios Estrangeiros e do Comércio Internacional da República do Zimbábue, próximo Presidente do Comitê Permanente dos Altos Funcionários. Embaixador Songo Kaumba, Secretário-Geral para a Integração Regional do Ministério da Integração Regional da República Democrática do Congo e Presidente cessante do Comitê Permanente dos Altos Funcionários. Sua Excelência Elias Mogos, Secretário Executivo da SADC. Secretários Executivos Adjuntos da SADC. No interpretation. Oh my God. No interpretation.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
No, not yet?
No, it's there.
Yeah. So I have to start again.
No, you had started, I think, just continue.
It's just continue. Ok. Continuando o meu discurso, eu estava nos secretários executivos adjuntos da SADC, altos funcionários de todos os Estados-membros da SADC, funcionário do secretariado da SADC e membros da imprensa. É para mim uma grande honra proferir a intervenção de abertura no momento em que me preparo para cessar hoje as funções de Presidente do Comitê Permanente de Altos Funcionários. Permitam-me que comece por expressar a nossa gratidão ao Governo e ao povo da República do Zimbábue pela hospitalidade e pelos confortos que foram postos à nossa disposição desde a nossa chegada a esta bela cidade de Harare. Após um ano a presidir esta importante estrutura da nossa organização, o Comitê Permanente dos Altos Funcionários, o nosso mandato chega hoje ao fim. E é o momento de passar o testemunho ao meu...
To hand over to my dear brother, Ambassador Albert Chimbimbi, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe. I hand over with much gratitude and with so many memories of what we have gone through. It has been an honor to chair this committee. I have done this with dedication and commitment, as have all of you through your participation and contribution, active contribution. Allow me to say that during our discussions last year, this committee has gone in depth on issues that are aligned with the RISDIP 2020-2030, which encompasses peace, security, good governance, industrial development, market integration, infrastructure development, to support regional integration, development of social and human capital, cross-cutting gender, youth, and environmental issues, climate change, risk management, disaster risk management, and we looked for strategies to accelerate the integration and intra-regional commerce by creating the necessary conditions for economic development and prosperity of the region. With regards to the development of infrastructure, our deliberations over the year were focused on the development of infrastructure as a basis for regional integration, taking into account the importance of services and cross-border infrastructure which are efficient and effective to facilitate a deeper integration of the region. We have debated a number of other issues like transport, water.
No que concerne a paz e segurança, a nossa comissão, em colaboração com o órgão de cooperação nas áreas de política, defesa,
Organ for Cooperation on Security has touched on the security issues in the northern part of Mozambique and eastern DRC to find durable peace in the two countries. We have made efforts to face the challenges of the region, including the humanitarian issue that results from drought and floods resulting from El Niño, which we have experienced through our deliberations and guidance. We have recommended Council.
onde o Presidente da
We have made recommendations to Council
lançou apelo
to be taken
para apoiar os Estados
to Summit, which
pela
has made an appeal
as inundações
for help to member states affected by the El Nino phenomenon.
em conformidade com o tema da
In line
plataforma
with
chefe de Estado.
the 43rd
Principais
summit theme,
fatores
which
da
was on
industrialização sustentável
the
na região
main
da SADC.
factors of
Foi aprovado
sustainable
em
industrialization of SADC, which has been approved in August
Angola.
2023 in Luanda, Angola.
Falamos sobre a necessidade
We have deliberated on the need to operationalize the Transformation University to develop
nossa agenda
skills that sustain
região,
our agenda of industrialization.
onde
And we have also created the forum of the youth forum, where young entrepreneurs have met to discuss a number
empoderamento, da inclusão e da participação da juventude no processo de desenvolvimento da nossa região. Apelamos igualmente
we
à
appeal
rápida
to
dinamização do Fundo de Desenvolvimento
Fast
Regional, mecanismo de financiamento
Development Fund,
concebido
uh,
para apoiar
which has
o
been
desenvolvimento
conceived
econômico
to
e crescimento sustentável na nossa
economic
região.
development
Minhas
of our region. Ladies and gentlemen,
ano, demonstramos a união de objetivos e
last year we have demonstrated
valores comuns.
demonstrated
Sua qualidade
commitment
técnica
to our common values.
do Conselho de Ministros. O Comitê Permanente de Diálogo
The permanent committee
tem papel importante
has
a
an important
no tratamento e na
role
aprovação dos
to play
dos comitês,
with
dos comitês
the documents of the committee
para as deliberações do Conselho.
when it comes to
Ao
deliberations
longo do ano,
by
podemos
Council.
apreciar
During the year,
queres e
we have been able to
diversos pontos de vista
take into account the various views
durante as nossas deliberações.
expressed by members of the
É
committees.
reconfortante
It is
verificar
reassuring
que, apesar de
to
termos opiniões
see that although we have divergent views,
devido ao nosso
we always
compromisso
come to a
com
consensus
os ideais,
because of our commitment to the ideals and principles
no consenso devido e princípios da SADC, desculpa.
and principles of SADC region,
Orgulhoso
and
do progresso que alcançamos.
I'm therefore proud of the progress that we have made
Que criamos,
and
o contributo que demos
the friendship
para a melhoria
that we have
da vida
forged
dos
and the contribution we have made to the improvement
senhoras e meus
of the lives of our citizens.
numa altura,
Ladies and gentlemen,
que
at a
me
time
preparo para passar a
when I
ao meu
prepare myself to hand over
o embaixador Sabino.
the next chair,
Tenho plena
Ambassador
confiança
Chimbimbi,
no presidente.
I am sure that the next chair,
Liderar
the incoming
este
chair,
comitê
will
permanente
lead
com
this
responsabilidade,
committee with wisdom
valores
and integrity
e princípios
and commitment to the
que nos unem.
values and principles that
O embaixador
bring us
Sabino,
together as a region.
diplomático
Ambassador
experiente,
Chimbimbi
traz
is
para este
an
comitê
experienced diplomat
uma vasta
who
experiência
brings to this
e
committee
profundo
a
conhecimento
vast experience and profound
e do papel da
knowledge
organização no
on
contexto
the objective of our
das
organization and its
dinâmicas
role, taking into account the continental and global
através da
dynamics.
sua liderança.
Through his leadership, I am very sure that we will continue to strengthen our cooperation and achieve the major objectives
E desenvolvimento.
towards our
Permitam
integration
secretário
and development.
Sua Excelência Elia Marrossi e a sua equipe.
Excellency E.S. Marossi and your team, I'd like to thank you for the dedication when
Que as decisões da nossa
when you carry out your duties.
e assembleia são efetivamente implementadas. Minhas senhoras,
Ladies and gentlemen,
tenho agora
it
a
is
honra de
my
convidar
honor to invite
meu irmão, embaixador
my brother,
Chimbimbi,
Ambassador Albert
secretário
Chimbimbi,
permanente do
Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe, for the necessary handover. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Muito obrigado Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Ambassador Salvador. We'll now invite Ambassador Albert Ranganai Chimbindi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Zimbabwe, to receive the chairship from the Republic of Angola. May I request the two ambassadors to come up here and the cameras to get ready. This is a momentous occasion. We need the gavel, Ambassador Salvador. I think. We would like Ambassador Salvador just to show that he's handing over the gavel, which is one of the instruments of power in this chairship. Please, Hamid. We would like to see Ambassador Chimbindi to receive also, and you, Hamid, to accept that you've received it. Thank you very much. I would also request member states to give 2 rounds of applause, one for the Republic of Angola for a job well done in serving us. And another applause for the Republic of Zimbabwe to welcome them to this chairship. Thank you, and this marks the end of this official opening ceremony. So we're going to have the remarks from Ambassador Albert Ranganai Chimbindi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe. He's going to give the remarks, and thereafter we'll proceed into the agenda of the day. Ambassador Albert Ranganai Chimbindi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and Chairperson of the SADC senior officials, to deliver the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning, colleagues. Director of Ceremonies, Ambassador Nazar Jose Salvador, the outgoing chairperson of the SADC Standing Committee of Senior Officials, we salute you. The distinguished senior officials from SADC member states, the SADC Executive Secretary, His Excellency Mr. Elias Mahosi, we welcome you, sir. Esteemed Deputy Executive Secretaries here present, we welcome you. Ladies and gentlemen and members of the media, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and indeed on my own behalf, I'm truly honored as the incoming chairperson of the Standing Committee of Senior Officials to warmly welcome you all to Harare, Zimbabwe. I would also like to express my utmost gratitude to you, our brothers and sisters, once again, for entrusting us with this great responsibility of steering the work of our regional bloc for the next 12 months. Allow me to extend my sincere appreciation to the outgoing chairperson, Ambassador Nazar Jose Salvador, for ably steering the agenda of SADC from August 2023 until the handover ceremony. I am fully aware of the responsibility bestowed on us by our principals as their technical advisors. I count on the cooperation and support of the outgoing chair, as well as that of each and every one of our brothers and sisters from member states, and of course, our secretariat, as I tackle this important duty that you have bestowed on me. We'll fail and succeed together. As chair, Zimbabwe stands ready to collaborate with all member states and our cooperation partners as we intensify our efforts towards implementing our shared aspirations enshrined in our regional blueprint, the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan 2020 to 2030. Distinguished delegates, it is evident from the annotated agenda before us that while we've registered progress across various pillars of our regional integration agenda, a lot still needs to be done to address our challenges. The agenda makes a clarion call for us to continue improving our transport, energy, and digital infrastructure, among others, as these are essential enablers of both our integration agenda and sustainable economic development, and ultimately the industrialized SADC that we all want. We should also continue to lend our support to our brothers and sisters in the Democratic Republic of Congo and in Mozambique, given that a stable, peaceful, and secure SADC is key to the upliftment of the lives and livelihoods of our people. In the SADC spirit and in the spirit of the Mutual Defense Pact, an injury to one is an injury to all of us. There continues to be a compelling need for us to intensify trade facilitation measures to boost intra-regional trade and investment in our region. It is critical that we fully take advantage of the opportunities presented by instruments such as the SADC Protocol on Trade, the Tripartite Free Trade Area, the African Continental Free Trade Area, in order to promote industrialization and enhance competitiveness, thereby creating decent work and alleviating poverty of our people. Distinguished delegates, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, our ability to ensure sustainable use of our God-given resources and uplift societies depends heavily on the efforts we exert towards unlocking the innovative potential of our human capital. This year's very relevant and timely theme, I quote, promoting innovation to unlock opportunities for sustained economic growth and development towards an industrialized SADC, should assist us to refocus and refine our collective thoughts in this regard. With the support of the Secretariat, we should come up with practical interventions to ensure that the objectives of the theme are realized. As we all know, the food and nutrition security situation in our region is increasingly becoming more challenging due to the adverse impacts of the climate change phenomenon. Repeatedly, our region has been exposed to unpredictable rainfall patterns and extreme weather conditions to which we are at least responsible. It is in this vein that we must recommit ourselves to support regional efforts aimed at mitigating the impacts of climate change and building resilience through adopting climate-smart agricultural techniques and improving our disaster preparedness plans. As I conclude, I wish to reaffirm Zimbabwe's unwavering commitment to working closely with you all in order to ensure that our collective endeavors remain aligned with the fundamental purposes and principles of the SADC Treaty and relevant to the needs of our people. The SADC citizens expect nothing less from us. I look forward to fruitful deliberations and wish you a memorable and productive stay here in Zimbabwe. I thank you.
Thank you. We've now come to the end of the official opening ceremony. We will like at this point to excuse the media so that the meeting proceeds in closed session. Members of the press, if you may exit. There will be an opportunity for a group photo of the senior officials before they take their tea during tea break. The speeches.
Yes, these are the proceedings that we promised you earlier, the handover and takeover of the chairmanship. As you have seen, Ambassador Chimbindi becoming the new chairperson of receiving the chairmanship from the outgoing chair, Ambassador Nazari Jose Salvador of the Standing Committee of Senior Officials, and now he has accepted the chairmanship and has really spoken in that acceptance speech to say he promises to work together with other countries, and Zimbabwe will ride on the fundamentals that were laid by the previous chair. And these are some of the meetings as a build-up to the upcoming SADC Summit happening right here on the Parliament building on the 17th of August 2024. Yes, dear fellows, we have seen the acceptance by Ambassador Chimbindi. Chairmanship is now in Zimbabwe, and he spoke of collaborative efforts to ensure that industrialization is achieved in the region.
Yes, indeed. Those were important points that the ambassador talked about, and in terms of providing the compass as the region goes forward. And I think the most important thing now to look at is also the operationalization of the Southern Africa Region Development Fund, which is one of the outstanding issues that has stood out for the past decade. And it's important that the leaders will focus on how to implement this, because this is one of the important vehicles to self-finance the region in terms of promoting economic growth. Ian.
Talking of the significance of such, when you talk of SADC looking for resources from within, I understand that His Excellency is always saying, and I assume the same applies to SADC. The region must look for resources from inside. How important is that we shift our focus from looking outside and looking inward for these solutions?
I think, seeing that the global community finances are depleting, and obviously when you look at even accessibility of finances, there is that over-reliance by many African countries on global multilateral institutions. And I think one of the important issues that the Southern African region is looking at is how to win itself out of those financing mechanisms that come from outside, and focus on how they can have resources to self-finance. So it's really important to have resources mobilized domestically and also regionally to ensure that these projects are implemented and they work for the good of the region.
Indeed, Theophilus, thank you so much for these discussions. Like we said, we'll be giving you more of these meetings, and these ones have started today, will end next week on Wednesday, and of course there will be Council of Ministers coming through to be hosted again right here at the Parliament building in Mount Upton. That's all we had for you from myself, Ian Wambe, the entire crew behind the scenes right here at the new Parliament building. We take you back to our pockets, your studios, to Faraigwazi.
Thank you so much there to Ian Wambe and Theophilus Chuma for giving us the rundown, of course, on the engagements currently taking place in Mount Hampton. The significance of today, of course, seeing the various senior officials and finance committee members, of course, engaging in the steps that would lead us to the ministerial process, which will be taking place tomorrow, and of course leading to the 17th, where the heads of state would have arrived. I'm still joined in studio by international relations expert Dr. Leopold Chakanyuka, to also just be able to maybe just give us an appreciation of the exchange that just took place between the chairs, the previous and the current chair.
Yes, so far I think we have witnessed the official handover of the chairmanship from Angola to Zimbabwe. That's the first stage in terms of the transfer of the chairpersonship to Zimbabwe. So now what it means is, in terms of the senior officials of as an organ of SADC, Zimbabwe has now officially assumed the chairmanship of that organ. So what we are then going to witness next is the transfer of the chairmanship in terms of the Council of Ministers, and then on the 17th of August, we'll then see the transfer of the chairmanship from the president of Angola to the president of Zimbabwe. So then also let's come to some of the issues that were highlighted, which I think are very important in also informing perhaps the agenda that is going to be deliberated. As I was listening to Ambassador Chimbindi when he was speaking, he actually set out like Zimbabwe's agenda or priority areas for this coming year as Zimbabwe is going to be chairing the SADC. He spoke about the development plan 2020 to 2030, the SADC development plan, that Zimbabwe is also going to focus on the full realization of the development plan, and also in areas that needs attention. He mentioned, the infrastructure development in terms of transport and communication infrastructure, as this is very important and related to this year's theme, which is focused on innovation and industrialization. So in terms of developing infrastructure, it's very critical in promoting regional integration. And a key and important area also he touched on, which I think is also going to be perhaps on the agenda, is the issue of peace and security. As you would know that when the leaders are going to meet, there will be the tabling or presentation of a report from the organ on politics, defense, peace and cooperation. And some of the areas that we have been having challenges will be in Mozambique and DRC. And if you were following the reports recently, the SADC mission in Mozambique recently withdrew from Mozambique, which I think is going to be an issue that will be discussed, do a post-mortem on the success of the SADC mission in Mozambique and areas that perhaps needs refocusing. And we also have a SADC mission in DRC, which I think is also going to be important. And he also spoke about trade and industrialization, as well as poverty alleviation. I think this has been also one of the key areas in terms of Zimbabwe's development agenda, to focus on poverty alleviation. I think you have been following what has been happening in the country, where we have been doing a lot of work towards poverty alleviation. So it's one key area also that is, even when you read the SADC Charter, it's one of the areas that is highlighted as an objective of SADC poverty alleviation, and which is also one of the key areas that we have been focusing on. And then food security. I think this year food security is very critical, because our region seems to have been under severe challenge in terms of drought, El Nino induced drought. So it's one key area that is also going to be a focus on, which then lead us to another area, which I would also think is going to be deliberated on, the issue of water management. Because I was reading some reports that were saying, in terms of our region, we are able to retain only 14% of the water that we have. The rest goes into waste, or it goes into the ocean. So in line with the drought that we are experiencing this year, the issue of water management is have to be an area that I think SADC leaders need to focus on. We can't continue to lose more than 80% of the water that we receive going to the sea. I think we need to come up with measures so as to retain the water and prevent any major disaster that comes as a result of droughts, if we are able to retain and keep our water in the region. But generally, I think I would like to commend the leaders of SADC, the importance of SADC in terms of promoting and creating a conducive